Shalom to elect Israel, to the hopeful elect Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, Haitians, foreign Israelites, that are like the other nations scattered across the four corners of the earth. I want to give all praise to Barak, with Shai. Got to give all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. Name of the Heavenly Father, who everybody ignorantly calls God, his true name in the ancient Hebrew, which is in the Rawchaa Qadash. His true name is Yahawah. Bahasham means in the name of Yahawashi, the Holy One of Israel. Everybody ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, so-called Negro from the tribe of Judah, who was slain at the foundations of the earth for the salvation of the elect of Israel. You got 2/3 of the wicked Israelites here in America, Babylon the Great, and the other wicked Israelites scattered across the four corners of the earth. That'll come back to the ones of the elect after the destruction. The Rawchaa Qadash of the Holy Spirit that has been bestowed upon the men, the Heavenly Father gave his only begotten Son out of the world to complete this work. So we always want to give double honors to the elders and apostles, the great millstone, let us all to this truth. Been ordained by the Lord to teach the flock how to live, repent, pray, fast, show forth the Lord's righteousness and mercy, judgment, forgiveness, and wrath to also part of the elect, to the hopeful elect. Lord, will be part of that number. Lord, when this be edified those who fear the name of the Lord, striving to show forth the Lord's righteousness every day to the best of their abilities. His judgment always comes to light. Zephaniah 3:5. It's not slack. 2 Peter 3:9 unto a ring. 2nd Ezra 5 verse 42. Shalom. I used to say believers out there tuning in on after Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Atham. We're going to get back into part 2 what we were going into yesterday. And also Shalom, Malak, Bahasham, Bahasham, Barak, GMS version now, straight gate, Shalom, Malak, Shalom. So we just going to get back into this lesson that I was going over yesterday. And the title is Concentration on Spiritual and Mental Toughness are the Margins of Salvation. So we're going to get back into this, and we're going to go into several topics. So Lord willing, this is edifying to the flock. We're going to get big started back on this video. Going into basically, because, what's been, kind of the topic for a lot of the elders and apostles today has been about, women losing that status of feeling like, their feminism is the most important thing on the planet, and they're starting to be exposed, and they're starting to be, the majority of these women who think they have all this power, they're starting to get dragged out, into this state of shame because of the way they've been acting, man. The majority of women on the planet. So it's coming to a time where it's going to be a great forsaking in the land, man. And women, they think they have some type of power because right now they're, basically protected by society. But when society collapses, the only thing that they're going to have is, the man that they have next to them. And if your man isn't connected to Yahawashi, it's over with for you. And, I was listening to Amwan Gabar, the elder in New York. He was going into kind of that same thing. And he was speaking about basically, a lot of these women are going to try to turn on this, this active in the end to, try to get Jake to notice them. But, we read about it in the Apocrypha. It talks about that glow is going to be on you, that shame, that you just been, extra proud the whole time. And we're not going to take you in, So this is just going back into, kind of like, the women's situation. And then we're going to go into maybe a few precepts on a few more, and then we're going to get to these other topics. So Lord wants to edify to the flock. And I also want to read something going into Isaiah a little bit. So let's get to it, and then we'll move on. So here we go.
You assume being chosen means you are known, but you're not. You're playing a role in someone else's story, And when your lines stop matching her expectations, the curtain falls. She replaces you, not out of cruelty, but out of necessity. You simply don't match the fantasy anymore. And here's where men suffer the most. We internalize the rejection. We assume we failed, but we didn't fail. We just stopped being useful to the illusion. Jung said the only way out is through individuation, the lifelong process of becoming whole, authentic, real. But most men never take that path. Why? Because we're trained from birth to seek validation, to please, to mold ourselves to fit. We think approval equals love. We think being chosen gives us worth, so we abandon ourselves just to keep the fantasy alive.
See, and that's the problem with a lot of men in the earth. They've been born to seek validation. You know, that makes me think of this precept. And that's the reason why a lot of men end up getting in bad situations with women. And, you know, maybe some are more harsh than less. They end up with a depressing outcome because they're trying to mold themselves into something that's really not them, you know. But us over here in GMS, you know, as we were talking about yesterday, we're strong, firm believers on you improving yourself and being yourself. We're not here to receive validation from the earth. We expecting the majority of people to hate us, just like they hated Yahawashi. So we're going to be who, you know, the Lord wanted us to be. So right here. This is Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 33. And it reads, why trimmest thou thy way to seek love? Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways. So Israel has been, you know, the majority of Israel has basically put themselves in a position where they've tried to impress all these damn heathens around them, man. And we don't need to impress them. Okay, we're about to own them. Okay, in the spirit of power, Bahasham. Like, we're not here to impress them. You know, we're here to do the work of the Lord and hopefully be saved out of here. But there's methods to it. And it starts with, you know, you spiritually and mentally understanding that we're not here to receive, to seek validation. We're not trying to form ourselves. We're basically trying to form ourselves in a way where we don't even resemble anything on this planet, man, because this planet is wicked. Now, we know there's a balance, of course, but, you know, we seek to be completely righteous. So that's the goal that we try to set. And we expect the majority of people not to like us. Okay. Continuing.
We compromise, we adapt, we perform until we forget who we really are. Jung called this exactly what it is: self-betrayal. A man who avoids his inner work becomes a...
Want a career that's electric? Tulsa Welding School can prepare you for a career as a professional electrician. Learn the skills you...
Right. Like he was saying,
becomes a servant to
outer projections, right? He was saying that a man who avoids his inner work, that's why the apostles always saying, work on yourself. Check yourself, examine yourself. Because then you're going to end up being a servant to basically, if you're one of these 144,000 leg men, you're basically becoming a servant to everything that you created. You see what I'm saying? Because we created this stuff with the Heavenly Father if we're those men. You know, Rawchaa, we are those men, man. So we got to think like that. You know, we got to have that mindset of like, this stuff is not above us. You know, even though we are in subjection right now in the physical, our spiritual and mental toughness is greater than that. And it's so great, it had to be hidden for so long, you know, for prophecy to play out, you know.
outer projections. He bends like wet clay, shaped by the desires of women who haven't faced their own shadows. And what's worse, women can feel it. They feel when you're not rooted, not solid, not true. They sense the mask, even if they once encouraged it. And the very things you thought would make her stay, your consistency, your availability, your devotion, become the very things that repel her. Because feminine energy, Jung said, doesn't crave safety. It craves mystery, challenge, depth. When you give yourself away completely, when you strip away every boundary, you don't become lovable. You become forgettable. You become disposable.
See?
And here's the most uncomfortable truth. You fear being alone more than you fear being false. You'd rather be accepted as an illusion than rejected as your truth. But Jung said that real manhood, true freedom, comes only when you stand alone, when you stop performing, when you stop chasing roles, when you start facing your own darkness. Individuation isn't easy. It's brutal. It forces you to look at the parts you've buried, the insecure parts, the weak parts, the broken parts. And most men never go there. They blame women. They point fingers. They join bitter circles of cynicism. But Jung asked the harder question. Why did you allow yourself to be chosen by someone who never saw you in the first place? Why did you offer your soul in exchange for validation? You weren't a victim. You were a volunteer. You chose the part. You memorized the lines. You stepped onto the stage willingly because it was easier than confronting your own emptiness. And when she dropped you, when she no longer needed the illusion you called it, your wake-up call. Because the truth is, she was never meant to carry your soul. That was always your responsibility.
Right? That's your responsibility, Jake. We supposed to carry ourselves. And really, they're supposed to be really to help us, you know? And, you know, when you have this mindset of not facing your demons, because every Jake has demons, you don't face your demons and handle them. You know, you end up becoming this simp, man. And then the whole world just play around with you, man. And that's why you see us, a lot of us in GMS over here, we're very austere men. That's how Yahawashi was. We ain't with all the bullshit. You know, we're here we mean business, you know? So, continuing.
And until you accept that, every relationship you enter will be a play. Every woman will be your mirror. Every love will be a lie. But when you stop running, you face yourself, you begin to change. Not for her, for you.
And you see how it says it's a mirror? You see how it said that everybody you face, you know, every woman, whoever you face, when it means by it's a mirror, that's the scriptures, man. That's the scriptures. Hold on. This is the one I wanted to put in last time, but I wanted to let it go a little bit longer. But this is, you know, this is basically what it's saying. This is Psalms 89:14. And it reads, justice and judgment are the habitation of thy throne. Mercy and truth shall go before thy face. So that's how the Lord is. You know, justice and judgment is basically everything you face in life. Like whatever you're looking at, whoever you see, it's all justice and judgment. Okay. So when you dealing with these type of women, you know, before you go pointing fingers at, you know, wicked women that you keep coming across, you keep ending up with these wicked ass women in your life, you got to check yourself, Jake. Because if you keep ending up with wicked ass women, then that means that there's something wrong with you, because it's a reflection of you. Okay. Whatever's coming around you is a reflection of you. Like it said, we taught the wicked ones thy ways, man. So that's why Jake be like, why the fuck all these damn Edomites fucking with me? Why all this, you know? That's a reflection of us. Okay. That's basically how the Lord felt about us at the time. And you got to swallow that, and you got to face that shit. And you got to stand up as a man and accept that, yeah, we did mess up. But then once you get to that point, you get back to, you know, yourself, man, because we are naturally righteous. Okay. We just fell away from the way. But that's what we're doing right now. We're coming back and recollecting the pieces, you know, that we were missing of the real us. The real us is righteous, man. You know, and Jake has went so long trying to be wicked in this earth, you know, He done lost himself, man. And this is the way back, man. Through the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, this doctrine, this truth. But you got to first stand alone. And once you start standing alone, then the right people will start coming around you and they'll respect you and they'll care about you. But there is a process, you know. Nobody ever, anybody successful in life, they were not like around a lot of people, man. They were always doing something that nobody else is doing, you know. And that's us as a collective of Israel. We're all doing stuff that the rest of the earth is not doing. That's how we know for sure, you know, that if we continue to the end, we will be successful in our journey to Yahawashi, you know. So you just got to remember that, Jake. Just remember in your spirit that whenever you dealing with anybody in the earth, it's a reflection of you. Okay? And a lot of Jake hurt theyself, man. A lot of Jake put pain on theyself. Like you got Jake smoking cigarettes, smoking weed. Some Jakes be shooting up jugs, taking crack. That's all that is, you know, things in this era that, you know, the majority of Jake deal with, you know, drug problems, women problems, because women can be a drug too. So you have to face that stuff and you have to, you know, pray to the spirit of Yahawashi. He puts the right spirit on you to resist that shit, man, because it's hard to beat yourself. You know, it's like you in a race with the part that's not you. That's why Paul talked about that. He said there's the sin within me. He's like saying like I'm basically racing myself, and it's never going to go away until Yahawashi comes back. So we have to have that mind state that we got to keep ourselves spiritually and mentally tough, because the other side of us is getting tougher too. Okay, the battle's going to get harder as you go along, you know. But every Jake has they you know, what we would say they kryptonite or whatever. But as long as you keep yourself facilitating yourself in the spirit, you know, and mentally, the rest of it will come along. That's why I said seek the kingdom of heaven the most high, and then everything gonna be added unto you. Then you're gonna get what you need to complete the mission, man. That's what we're asking the Lord for. We're not asking him for riches. We're not asking him for all this shit. We're saying give us what we need to make sure that we don't tap out, man, before the missiles come, man. You see what I'm saying? That's the margins of salvation, you know.
You stop chasing. You stop performing. You stop hoping to be seen. And something strange happens. You start attracting women who have faced their own shadows. Women who aren't looking for a character. Women who aren't scripting a movie in their heads. They meet you as you are. No masks.
See, that's a real relationship. When both you and you meet a woman, Jake, a woman, and she's faced her demons, you face yours, you both accepted what's going on, and then you come to a common goal. And in the truth, what's that? Serve Yahawashi in his tabernacle, man. That's how this works. That is what the Lord would look at as a perfect relationship. Okay? That's glorifying the Most High right there. We ain't hiding no mask. We know we sin against the Lord. We know we in captivity. We know what's going down. We ain't hiding nothing, you know? And we trying to make sure that we stay on a path of righteousness, man.
No roles. No illusions. They don't try to change you.
See?
Got a $1 billion web app idea? Now you can turn it into reality with Hostinger Horizon.
And that's the woman that Jake, you know, he seems to not ever get, because why? Because Jake, you know, Jake has a tendency to try to change shit to his form too. Like we said, you know, Israel is consisted as basically as a woman to the Lord. And Jake, you know, the majority of Jake, they out here trying to like make everything fit his perfect little story. It's not about us. And once we start focusing on what Yahawashi wants us to do, he's going to bring other people around you that they mask is gone too. Like all that trying to fit into the earth, and then everything just flows, man. We ain't saying there ain't gonna be no trials and tribulations, but through them trials and tribulations, you figure them out, and it just flows through. It's like everything's already laid out for us to get out of here, you know. And we gotta believe that, man. Because if you don't believe that, then how you gonna get out of it? How are you gonna even get to the point to when they're like out here really trying to come at us, man? You're gonna need to right now have a lot of confidence. Because once they come at you, that's all we're gonna have is this knowledge, man. This knowledge and this truth. But real women will not try to change you, man. You know what I mean? And they accept who they are and they fight their shit. And they acknowledge it. A lot of women don't do that, man. A lot of women do shit and act like they ain't do nothing wrong, man. These are the women that you gotta stay away from, Jake. Especially the ones who be changing their hair colors all the time and shit. All of them are the same. Okay, all of them are literally, none of them have really faced their own shadows. They ain't faced their own enemies, which is they self. You know what I mean? And that's why they're over there trying to rule over their men. But you got some women who do submit, man. You know, that's their natural, that's what they naturally love doing. Submitting to a man. That's what they do. And just like Zaquan was saying, he was like, no, none of these Moab women and so-called Chinese women, the so-called Ishmaelites, the so-called Arabian women, they don't have that attitude, man. They know they need a man, man. It's just these Western women, man. They on that Babylon juice.
They don't worship you. They don't expect you to complete them because they've done their work too. They've met their animus. They've seen their projections. They've stopped the performance. And together, finally, there is no stage, no act.
I get what these saying. Like, what they mean by don't worship you is like they're basically an extension of you, you know? But, you know, we are basically, when you get a woman in the truth, you're basically her Lord. But she knows that, you know, we're the mediators to Yahawashi. We're all looking to Yahawashi to get us out of here, man. You know, we all give Yahawashi, Bahasham, the ultimate praise for bringing other believers in our life. You know, and we know that the believers in your life around you, how you treat them is how you treat Yahawashi. You know, so you got to make sure that you are genuinely sincere when you are dealing with Israel, man, or the Lord will get rid of your ass quick. You doing that fake ass, not really giving a fuck about Israel, the Lord's gonna get rid of you. He's gonna make an example of you.
No fantasy, just truth, just choice, just presence. Jung said this kind of love is rare and dangerous because it demands nothing but requires everything. It asks for wholeness, authenticity, clarity, and most people, they'll never find it because they'll quit before they get there. They'll settle for the act, the mask, the illusion. They'll call it love, but it's not. It's avoidance, it's fear, it's codependence dressed in romance. If you keep walking, if you keep shedding the layers, if you keep refusing to perform, you'll find something terrifying. You'll find yourself, and in that stillness you no longer use women to feel like a man. You no longer need their gaze to feel alive. You no longer trade your truth for affection.
Yeah.
You choose freely, fully, and when you meet her, the real her, you'll know, because she won't ask for performance. She won't demand sacrifice. She won't fall in love with your potential. She'll stand in front of you, whole, clear, ready, not to save you, not to be saved, but to walk with you shoulder to shoulder, soul to soul, no roles, no scripts.
That makes sense, but they do, you know, we all look for salvation. You know, he kind of going a little bit too deep, but really what he's saying is in that day, you know, when your women is supposed to be basically a mirror of you, man, because you're the head of the household. So that's why I said they'll be joint heirs with us, because they gonna be looking at it like, you know, they know that we can't save them either to an extent. You know, we're gonna need Yahawashi, so we're both looking to the Lord to be able to get us out of this mess. But the one thing they're gonna do They ain't gonna be on no bullshit. They're gonna get to work. They're gonna be working like us. You know, I'm just saying, just, you know, and the Hebrew Israelite tense. And that's the problem with the earth. A lot of people are getting shaken up and getting all touchy about what we're talking about, and it should make them feel all messed up, because it's making the scriptures is convicting you. You're being marked for judgment, because that's what's around everybody: justice and judgment. That's what we're in right now. We're in court right now, and however you're feeling about what we're saying, that's how your judgment's going to be. You know. And the majority of people are not going to find true love. And that's what? Keeping the commandments, following Yahawashi. That's first. And that's why you see us as in GMS, we don't have this mindset of feeling like men just because women look at us. We don't give a goddamn, okay, about women looking at us. We care about Yahawashi looking at us, because he's finna blow this bitch up. And the majority of people are going to die are what? Women, because it's more than y'all than us. You know, so for the majority of these women, a lot of them, the way they are, we don't even want them. By the time y'all get right, a lot of y'all gonna just get rejected because you've been on some bull biggity for too long. You know, some of y'all is just asses is grass. So for you women that's actually still got a damn chance to be serving one of these men of the Lord, get on it. Because if you're not doing that, what are you useful for? That's the only thing that you were built to do. Our job was built to do what? Serve you. How about Yahawashi? We ain't doing that. The Lord gonna look at us like we ain't useful. You know?
No games, just truth. And that kind of love, Jung said, is the most powerful kind, because it's not born of need, it's born of freedom. And freedom is the beginning of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Take a moment right now to
You know, whatever. We ain't gonna do all that. But the video's pretty good. Makes a lot of good points. Now we're gonna go into a couple advice when dealing with women, and then we're gonna move on. It's been a while since I really dealt with women. I do it every now and then, try to, you know, especially when the brotherhood is going into Rawchaa chapter 9. We're going to Rawchaa chapter 9. This is just all going into advice on women. The book of Ecclesiasticus gives you advice on how to, you know, what you should and shouldn't be doing. These are some good points. So this is Rawchaa chapter 9, verse 1. It says, "Be not jealous over thy wife of thy bosom, and teach her not an evil lesson against thyself," right? Because she's a reflection of you. Your woman is a reflection of you. So don't be bitter of your woman and shit. Like, give a fuck about her and shit. Make sure she's straight and shit, because it's you. Like when you, and we're talking about Israelites in the truth. We ain't talking about everybody. They're not even believing what we're saying anyways. Why would we want to talk to them? We're talking to Israel right now. So we don't try to have that feeling of like maybe some you know, some brothers maybe got a woman that make more money than them or whatever, or get the bag or whatever, do whatever they do. Don't be jealous over them, because they still gonna have if they're like actually a woman of the Lord and have humbled themselves under you, they're gonna do whatever you tell them to do. You know what I'm saying? If it's of the Lord, man, like it's got to be of the Lord, man. And people have taken this misconception of like, it's bad for a man to tell a woman what to do. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And they put shame on that. Like, they want you women to feel ashamed when we tell you to do something. We're not, us is right. If our souls are seeking to be righteous, why would we just tell you to like do some weird shit, like get on your knees and hands and knees and, you know, roll over or something? Like, we're not treating you like dogs. Okay. It says we're going to be joint heirs with y'all in the kingdom. Like, we're going to run the shit, but we're going to care about y'all. So that a lot of people have taken the Israelites and try to make it seem like we just treating our women like shit. Nah, hell no. Our women ain't gonna, most of them in the kingdom ain't gonna even be fucking walking, man. They're gonna be floating and shit. They ain't gonna have no damn all this working and shit. No, they're gonna have slaves. Y'all have no idea. You're gonna have all the other kingdoms like, damn, I wish I could, all the other heathens and shit and other like, damn, I wish I could treat my woman like he did. You ain't gonna be able to. We gonna be the best of the best, man. So don't be jealous over your wife and shit. Like, help her out and encourage her to continue to serve the Lord righteously. And that, what is that? Serve your man. You know, when you do that, and both of y'all know, you know what I'm saying? Like, and what it means by like no roles is like worldly roles is what I would say when he said that. Like no worldly roles. All of our roles are tied to freedom and salvation, man. Verse 2, give not thy soul unto a woman to set her a foot upon thy substance, right? Keep your foot down, Jake. Keep your foot down, because Satan it's easier for him to get into women than us, because we're more rooted in the truth. We're more rooted in Yahawashi. So you got to keep your foot down and let them know that there is no compromise, you know? That doesn't mean we're just being bullies. We're just saying that we're trying not to get blown up. What's the problem with that? We don't want to get blown up. And if we're letting you run us, then our house is not in order. Because the order is man, woman, children. That's the order. Okay? That's how it goes. And under all that is Yahawah. That's the order. You don't want to get with that order? What does that mean? Get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? That's how we are. You know? Verse 3, meet not with an harlot, lest thou fall into her snares, right? So that's why, because we know in the Old Testament and in the New Testament, like, you know, we know prostitution is legal, man. It's not like it's just like wicked like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, he didn't get mad at Samson when he slept with that harlot. He didn't get mad. Lord didn't get mad at him. But we're saying in the time that it said things are lawful, but not everything is expedient. Okay, and right now we're in a different time right now. Okay, so but okay, whatever you want to do that, whatever. But we in more time to where it's like things are stricter, man. You can't. We over here setting an example, rebuilding the tabernacle. So a lot of us are not doing shit like that, even if we can, even if we could, but we're not doing that kind of shit. You know what I mean? Because we're more focused on the ministry. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us, you know, it says seek nothing, don't even seek to have a wife. The only reason why I have a wife is because she came to me, you know, and she believed in Yahawashi. That's why I was like, okay, you met your demons and you didn't fix your shit. You trying to get right. You looking for somebody to guide you. That's how it works, man. But you don't need to look for it, Jake. That's why I say you'll start attracting women. And just because you attract women, Jake, doesn't mean you take them, man. You examine their ass thoroughly, you know, and make sure that you can tame them. Because some of these women are harlots and they're secret harlots. They be acting like they righteous women and shit. These bitches be some demons like a motherfucker. You got to watch what you're doing out here. Verse 4, use not much company of a woman that is a singer, lest thou be taken with her attempts. So, right. So you got a woman that can sing real good. She's real talented. You know, be careful with those. That's all the Lord's saying. That doesn't mean just because a woman sings, she just wicked. But just be careful, because a lot of them is wicked. You know, women like Rihanna and Beyonce. Okay. That's why they had that book that they made us read in they made us read in it was like elementary school. It's called The Odyssey, and there was these sailors, and they went over there, and they seen these women, and they was real beautiful, and they could sing real good, and they was like, well, someone was like, we're gonna go over there, and they went over there, and them bitches ate their ass. They was teaching us scriptural shit in school too. They just wasn't telling us the scriptures. The Lord does that stuff too, because it's the Lord, right? Justice and judgment is the habitation of his throne. He was getting us ready to the point to where we came to understand really what it was saying. It's just, it was only going to be, you know, a remnant that was going to catch on really, you know, what everything is around us, right? Verse 5, gaze not on a maid. So you have, you know, I say you go to, you know some people and you at their house or something, and they rich or something, whatever, you meet them over business or whatever, and they got you know, like a nurse or a maid or something in there, or a babysitter or something. Don't fuck with her. Don't fuck with her. That's what he's saying. That thou not fall by those things that are precious in her, right? Because a lot of them are precious, but they also be laying snares and traps too. Okay, these are all different types of women. You gotta, you know, make sure you really examine what you're doing when you run into them, because a lot of them be using men. That's you see us talk about all these mainly these worldly women. What they do, they just paint a picture of just certain man in their mind, and that's how they be catching Jake and traps and shit. Verse 6: Give not thy soul unto harlots, that thou lose not thine inheritance, man. So don't be falling in love with these hoes, Jake. Simple as that. Number 7: Look not round about thee in the streets of the city, neither wander thou in the solitary place thereof, right? So don't be going through the alleyways looking for these hoes and shit and whatever. See, because you remember I was talking about, you know, like we said in the old Testament, you know, there's accounts in Genesis of you know, a man being like, a woman be like, oh well, what you gonna do for me if I'm gonna throw you this box? All right, well, I'll give you this mule and this shit. The boy wasn't tripping on that. But right now he's saying don't be doing that right now. Don't be going in the streets and doing all that. That's why the apostles were saying you don't need to be going to the bars and parties and, you know, trying to get these wicked ass women, man. Okay? Because they're gonna get your ass in some shit. You know what I mean? Verse 8: Turn thine eye from a beautiful woman, look not upon another's beauty, for many have been deceived by the beauty of a woman. For herewith love is kindled as a fire. So, you know, just don't be like in so much awe when you see like a good looking woman, Jake, and shit. Like, she's just a fucking woman. We the fucking prize, man. We're the prize. We ain't get, you know what I'm saying? And that's something that all Jake fights. Sometimes you see a woman that look real good, you be like, damn, she look good as hell. But you got to get into that point to where you stop thinking like that, Jake. Like, fuck that. She don't know shit. We the prophets, man. You know what I'm saying? We the prophets. We don't give a fuck how good you look. Your ass gonna be charcoal in a little bit if you ain't serving one of us and you're not an Israelite. So it don't fucking matter. Verse 9: Sit not at all with another man's wife, of course, nor sit down with her at thine arms, and spend not thy money with her at the wine, right? Don't be drinking with somebody else's woman and shit. That's why a lot of women be looking at us like, is he gay? Or because a lot of them women be dealing with men. A lot of them be trying to flirt with us and shit. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever, when they see us out and shit, or whatever we doing, or you know what I'm saying? Because I go out and sell gyms. So you know there's gonna be some women that be out there that be got man and he, you know, whatever, he worldly and just ain't about shit to her or whatever. Because you know how women are. After you start playing their role, they start treating you like shit. They be out there looking for somebody else to devour. And they see your ass and they want to try to get you to drink with them or whatever, or talk to them. Don't fuck with them. Be like, nah, he ain't fucking with you. Shalom. He ain't fucking with you. You know? So a lot of these women gonna get your ass in trouble with the Most High. Lest thine heart incline unto her, and through thy desire thou fall into destruction, right? You're gonna lose your inheritance. Just for fucking with that weird bitch. Verse 10: Forsake not. Oh, this is going to friends. But we ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna go into that. We just wanted to go into women. That's all I wanted to do. So now we're gonna go into this other article, but I want to read a little bit of Isaiah, the 48th chapter, real quick. I want to go into a few things. Just go into some, you know, some doctrine. This is Isaiah chapter 48, verse 1. Hear ye this, O house of Jacob, talking about Israel, 12 tribes, which are called by the name of Israel, and ye are come forth out of the waters of Judah. See? And are come forth out of the waters of Judah, to my seed line, which swear by the name of the Lord, and make mention of the Most High of Israel, but not in truth nor in righteousness. See? So there's a lot of Israelites that are saying, oh, they love the Lord. You know, you got a lot of people in IUIC, ISUPK talking about they love the Lord and they follow the law and all this and one body for all them, but they not doing it in truth or in righteousness, man. Because they're not giving you the full gist of really what the warning is, man. The MOTB being made mandatory. You know, World War III, they're more talking about progressing here and doing, you know, fundraisers to build, you know, whole Israelite neighborhoods and shit. Like they're like doing weird shit with the ministry, man. Okay. And those be the main ones who be dealing with these damn women we talking about that be out here on this bull biggity, man. They be out here doing all this weird shit. And then Jake be in IUIC done 4-5 brothers done slept with his wife and shit. And now everybody know about it and shit. Like that's why we like, nah, we're not finna lose our inheritance over no dumbass shit like that, man. No. Verse 2, for they call themselves of the holy city, and they stay themselves upon the God of Israel, the Lord of hosts is his name. Verse 3, I have declared the former things from the beginning, and they went forth out of my mouth, and I showed them, I did them suddenly, and they came to pass. And that's what's been happening. Everything in the scriptures that has been spoken of to come to pass has came to pass, man. And you can even look it up on the internet. They say basically just about everything in the Bible has came to pass, but they don't say everything because it ain't all past yet. There's some stuff that still got to come to play. That's why they scared about this. That's why they scared of the scriptures. That's why you got these Christians. They're tripping out, okay? And they use the same shit. They call us the Black Hebrew Israelites. They talk about we don't know what we talking about. You know what I'm saying? They just use the same shit because they're convicted, man. They know that since we know history better than them, we know actually, like the different languages and stuff, and we know the dark sayings, man. It's messing with they everyday life because they know that their time is up, man, and they finna get judged. Because once you pass the camp, you're marked, and the Lord's gonna start, he's gonna start making shit happen in your life where you're gonna be like, oh man, something don't feel right. And if you're Israel, you're supposed to repent and start acting right. If not, you're just gonna get worse and worse because you got the warning. So and they called him, all right, verse 4, because I knew that thou art obstinate, and thy neck is an iron sinew, and thy brow I think it's brow brass, right? Just basically saying like stiff neck, don't want to listen, man. I have even from the beginning declared it to thee. He told us this is just going how we was gonna be, man, as a people, man. But he always had, leaders who did do what he say do, man. That's the elders and apostle great millstone right now. Okay. And they made mistakes too. We all made mistakes. I ain't saying that. He gonna talk about, we're gonna say, we're gonna keep reading. I've even from the beginning declared it to thee. Before it came to pass, I showed it thee. Lest thou shouldest say, mine idol have done them, and my graven image and my molten image have commanded them. So that's why we have prophets to prophesy to you. That's what the Lord did for us. He told us what was going to happen, so we couldn't be like, oh, well, I told you. No, we didn't tell you nothing. The Lord told us to tell you. That's why he had the brotherhood set up, so you can know, like, we're not taking no credit for none of this, man. We got told this. All of us, starting with the head apostles. Verse 6, thou hast heard, see all this, and will ye not declare it? I have showed thee new things from this time, even hidden things, and thou didst not know them. Because on our past lives, there were some scriptures we didn't understand because it wasn't time to. Even there was times that the Lord showed Daniel things, and he was like, I didn't understand that, but he said, you're gonna understand it later when you come back. He told Daniel you have to stand in this lot at the end of days. What does that mean? His destiny. He had to be here. you know, to be able to interpret this stuff, man. You know, he had to come back to deal with this, to be prophecy. He could, if he never came back, if he wasn't here in the end of days, then, you know, and you know, we know the end of days started when Yahawashi was crucified. So that could have been at any time. He could be here right now. He could be here, you know, he could have been here when, you know, 100 years ago. Who knows? We don't know that. We can't tell you who's here and who's not. But we can tell you that the Lord said that he's going to bring the prophets back, man. And he said he was going to raise them up last. So we don't know who's here. But we know the prophets are here, man. They're here. We can tell you that. So we can say Ezra's is here. We can say that because it said that he said, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days. Right? He was going, his whole prophecy at the end of it was talking about what was going to happen in America, what was going to happen when all the missiles get shot off and everything gets blown up. He was talking about who's going to be. He said, "Woe is me. Who's going to deliver me in those days?" You know, so more than likely he's here right now. You know, but you know that's just going into the scriptures. You know, but it was really just paraphrasing that. You know, a lot of the prophets are here today, man. Not just him, but us as a unit, all of us as prophets. You know, the prophets had younger brothers under them, and younger brothers who were believer prophets. Yeah, probably many prophets that weren't named. It talked about the 144,000 men, and they ain't, you know, the majority of them ain't named. Okay, a big portion of them ain't named. You got the 12, you know, the 12 disciples. You got Yahawashi, you know, you got King David, you know, and basically one of the 12 disciples is King David, you know, you know, which is Peter. Okay, that's why I call him the Rock. Okay, that's talking about King David. Okay, that's him being reincarnated to rebuild the tabernacle. Okay, so going back into it. Because the Lord has mixed so much stuff now, you ain't going to be able to just tell what's going on, man. He's going to make it where you're going to really have to believe, man. You know, he's not going to make it where you can just figure it out because there's a whole lot of more people on the earth now, and there's way more information out there. And Esau's trying to figure out who the prophets are so he can kill them. So the Lord's made it where he's made it where you ain't going to know, man, unless you really are the elect. That's how you're going to know who the true prophets are. So it says, right? So it says, they are created now and not from the beginning, even before the day when thou heardest them not, lest thou shouldest say, behold, I knew them. So he made sure we wasn't able to just be like, yeah, we knew what was going on. You know, basically, he set it up to where, you know, you couldn't just outplay the Most High. Verse 8, yea, thou heardest not, yea, thou knowest not. Yea, from that time that thine ear was not open, because it was a time we didn't have the truth. For I knew that thou wouldest deal very treacherously and what's called a transgressor from the womb. See? So that's why, you know, you have your order of when you wake up in the truth, man. Because if he would have woke you up any earlier, you would have been doing some weird shit. So we're glad the Lord has the control on who gets into this and not. Verse 9, for my name's sake will I defer mine anger, and for my praise will I refrain for thee, that I not cut thee off. See, so the Lord had it set up to where, because he knew we was going to go off bad, man. He didn't wake us up at the right time. He did that so he wouldn't cut us off, man. That's how you know the Lord's been watching over us. And Jake got to stop worrying so much, you know, because the Lord already set it up, man. And we're here. We're in the truth, you know. Now I want to jump up to the 49th chapter of Isaiah, and I want to read a few precepts, and I just want to make a little point. Isaiah 49, verse 9. And it reads, that thou mayest, may start back at 8. Just gonna make the point. Yeah. Isaiah 49:8. Thus saith the Lord Yahawashi, in an acceptable time have I heard thee, right? So see, he made sure that it was an acceptable time. He had to make sure that he let us know, the methods of salvation, man, at the right time. And just like I said in the New Testament, he raised up the apostles last. If he would have woke them up any earlier, we would have all just been dealing treacherously, man. That's how much we need Yahawashi, man. So we ain't out here trying to act like these just super righteous men, okay? And that's the problem with a lot of the church. They come out trying to act like they just righteous as hell. Like they ass is the most wicked because they're not giving you no prophecy, and they in cahoots with Esau eating the so-called white man. They making money off of them and everything, off of false ass doctrine. So going into it, an acceptable time I have heard thee, and in the day of visitation I have helped thee, and I will preserve thee. Right, and right now he's visiting the earth. That's why we're seeing a lot of turmoil and tragic shit going on in the earth. Okay, but he's preserving us with what? Telling us what he told us he was going to tell us at the right time, so we can understand it and get right. And give thee for a covenant of the people to establish the earth and to cause to inherit the desolate heritages. Right, that's talking about the ways of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. This is a desolate heritage in the earth right now. Okay, other than to us. Everybody else, they look at this like it's not useful because it's desolate. Okay, this is our heritage. This is not like the Christians. Those are man-made religions. This is not a religion. This is a heritage. This is who we are. That's what it's saying. Verse 9, that thou mayest say to the prisoners, go forth. To them that are in darkness, show yourselves. They shall feed in the ways, and their pastors shall be in all high places. Basically, coming into the truth, because we were prisoned in our minds, But now we have the tools to be able to concentrate on spiritual and mental stability, man. That's what makes you free. Verse 10, that they shall not hunger nor thirst, neither shall the heat nor sun smite them. For he hath had mercy on them. For he that hath mercy on them shall lead them. Even by the springs of water shall he guide them. Talking about coming into this truth. This is all spiritual. It's basically saying that, there's not going to be nothing that's going to sway us from the truth. He's going to keep guiding us, with our leaders, and also, you keeping a track of who you are and what you're supposed to be doing with yourself. Verse 11, and I will make all thy mountains a way, and my highways shall be exalted. Right? Talking about this truth, it's being exalted to the earth right now. And that's why a lot of the Christians, they have like this, they have a big problem with us teaching this truth, man, and they're really bugging out about it. And they should be, because the Lord is exalting us right now. He's setting us in our rightful order right in front of Esau, even the so-called white man. He can't even do nothing about it. He can't do nothing about it, man. Because the Lord owns his ass. He can't do nothing about it. He can't make no move until the Lord wants him to. Verse 12, behold, these shall come from far, and lo, these from the north and from the west, and these from the land of Sinim. Gonna get to the point. Verse 13. He's gonna basically gather us with this truth. Verse 13 singing, O mountains, talking about the nations, basically going into Israel, of course, for the Lord have comforted his people, and he will have mercy upon his afflicted, right? So that's going into you so-called Negro, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, Haitians, foreign Israelites, and the other nations scattered across the four corners of the earth. So this is us singing and being joyful, because now we have been able to tap back into our power source. you know, in the middle of darkness, you know, and shit's finna start going down, man. Shit is going down. Shit is going down. We're going to go into these articles I was talking about yesterday. We're going to put in these precepts, and then we're going to get out of here. It says King Charles arrives in Canada to support the country against Trump, right? That's what they're doing, man. That's what they're doing. We're going to go to another one of the major prophets, Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 58. Great Britain is really stepping out and coming against America, Babylon the Great, and they spoke of that. This place is going to get destroyed. Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 58. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the broad walls of Babylon shall be utterly broken, and her high gate shall be burned with fire. Talking about missiles. And the people shall labor in vain, and the folk in the fire, and they shall be weary, man. That's what's coming, man. This is what's coming. This was coming, man. Isaiah, back to Isaiah. Boy, we're putting them prophets to work. 47. We're going to start at 1. And it reads, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. See, this is talking about America, Babylon the Great right here. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. When you go into history, the Chaldeans were very highly into witchcraft. That's why you got in Hollywood what they all about, witchcraft. In old Babylon, Chaldeans were basically the last stronghold of Babylon. Okay, and you know when they got taken over, they didn't really put up a fight. They just kind of gave it up because they were just to that point where they were just through. You know, when the Medo and Persian Empire started taking over. But this time, this is talking about the daughter of the Chaldeans. This is talking about America, Babylon the Great. And America is basically the last stronghold of Esau, Edom. This is his last precious, this is like his cash crop nation, man. This is where he makes the most of his money. This is where he's doing most of his wickedness at. This is where mostly Jake is too, most of Jake. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate, right? Verse 2, take the millstones and grind the mill, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Basically, this place is being exposed to be known as America, Babylon the Great, the wicked, the land of, you know, the valley of the shadow of death. That's where that place, that's what this is talking about. When it says the valley of shadow of death, that's talking about here, because this place is going to get 200 million intercontinental ballistic missiles blowing this bitch up. Okay? This is what it's talking about here. This is the lake of fire. And it's being uncovered, you know, by the prophets. We're uncovering it to you, the ones whose brains work. It's the hopeful elect. This place finna get blown up. Verse 3, thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yea, thy shame shall be seen. Right? I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. See, Yahawashi is gonna come back as an angelic being. Okay, whooping ass. Vengeance. Nobody talks about in the churches Jesus coming back and avenging anybody. He just gonna come back and just give everybody $1 and everybody gonna be happy. Like, that's why we don't go to church, okay? Because they're retarded. Verse 4, as for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name. Lord of hosts means Lord of armies. So he has his army too. The Holy One of Israel. Verse 5, sit thou silent, get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. See, that's talking about America, Babylon the Great, because they called her the Great Whore in Revelation. So it's showing over here, even in the Old Testament, you notice it's talking about America, Babylon the Great, because old Babylon was the old Neo-Babylonian Empire wasn't considered a lady, okay, or the Lady of Kingdoms. They weren't running everything. They failed. They got taken over, okay. America's the only place that hasn't been taken over yet. Okay, that's why we know it's talking about here. Okay. So we're going to stop right there. And we're going to read the Jeremiah 50:43. Then we're going to move on. Jeremiah 50:43. And it reads, and this is why we know Esau Edom right now is bugging out over us talking about this shit. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 43. The king of Babylon have heard the report of them, and his hands waxed feeble. Anguish took hold of him, and pains as of a woman in travail, man. So the kings of Babylon, all of them know who we are. That's why you don't see the small hats and all of them. They don't be saying nothing about GMS. I'll tell you this. Any of them rich motherfuckers out there that's talking about they know the Lord, ain't none of them said nothing about GMS, man. They be over there talking about IUIC, ISUBK. They be talking about them, man. They better not, they know not to broadcast us live, because everybody who watched that shit, your ass marked. So that's why they don't be talking about us, because they know once you see us, that's your ass if you don't get right. Like, period. That's why they be showing all them other camps, man. They don't want us to everybody know us. They know who the fuck we is. We is the prophets, the true prophets. And just bugging them out. That's why I don't talk about GMS. And when they do little videos on the Hebrew Israelites, they always going to IUIC, these guys. They always talk about them. They ain't never talking about us like that. You know? They had that. They try to be all looking at us as a spectacle. When they had back in the day, they had Apostle Tahar go on the Shirley show because it wasn't a whole bunch of Israelites woken up yet. Now they see that he got all these Israelites under him. Now the Lord then gave him commands to watch over. Now they scared, man. Now they scared because they was over there thinking that he was a damn joke. It's like, yeah, put him on the show. We're gonna see what happened to him. Now all us awake out here. Telling you the same doctrine. Now they ass scared. So they know it wasn't no fucking joke now. So Putin's adrenochrome task force busts underground Israeli child trafficking network. So then, like, look at these niggas, man. They're helping Israel bomb Gaza and shit. Look, they got underground child trafficking networks and shit all throughout their cities and shit. Okay, so they're over there. Basically, the shame is being bared on this place, man. And it said, look right here. In the wake of a fierce Russian advance, hundreds of enslaved children were rescued. According to the Russian sources involved in the raid, capturing and chilling footage, this is the biggest child trafficking bust in history. But what they uncovered was far worse than numbers. A vast trafficking network linking the Kyiv regime to a ruthless Israeli ring with global reach to adrenochrome hot spots, including Hollywood and DC. So it's getting linked back to America, Babylon the Great. Okay? Everybody in the world is looking like, nah, man. These niggas always talking about something, God we trust. Nah, y'all niggas is weird. Okay? That's what's happening right now. That's why this place is going to get destroyed. Okay? And America, Babylon the Great and them, they know. So they're trying to get the 10 horns. You know, basically, you know, Germany is one of the 10 horns. Okay? These different nations that are under America, Babylon the Great. So they're trying to escalate, war because they know that they've been caught. It said uncover the thigh, right? Cover her secrets. They're getting caught. They're getting caught up right now. And Great Britain, King Charles over there, like, hey man, let me go talk to Canada. And Canada's always been cool with America, Babylon the Great. Now they both coming against this place, and they right upstairs from here. Okay, so World War III alert. Germany approves Ukraine to nuke Russian targets. So now they're talking about using nukes. What do you think everybody else gonna start using? All it's gonna take is one person to use nukes. They already been talking about. They already said they wasn't supposed to use them. Remember? Now they're saying, all right, you can use them. So it might not be. Maybe we get maybe somebody nuke a city tomorrow. Maybe they don't. But we know this now. They've been approved. They said now you can use them because they're getting desperate, man. They're getting desperate. That's how we know Babylon's on the way to getting blown up. Because everybody's got missiles and they already don't like their ass because they on there selling children and shit. Okay? And the myth of this land is leaving this place. And a lot of people are starting to get scared because every time they be trying to party, it be shit going down. That's why it says it right here. And this is considering in the UK, but it's even like that over here. It ain't as many people be out no more. You know? Not like that. That's why a lot of businesses been failing and shit. It says nightclub market shrinking as younger people stay at home. Right? This is talking about in the UK. So even over there in the UK, you know, things are getting, you know, to where things is tight, man. And usually when stuff happen over there, it comes here next. You know, we know what's going on over here in Babylon. You know, he done fired all these people in the government, and you know they got AI damn taking over jobs, and you know you just got Jake just losing. Period. You know, because they want to put inside that fear so they can issue in that MOTB, man. They taking away eats, food stamps, all that. Because that's what makes them think they don't need no man. They get that $800 food stamps, and you know what I'm saying, they got their little raggedy ass job. So they be talking shit. Lord's plucking their ass right now. It says Chicago's body Memorial Day weekend leaves 22 shot, 2 dead. So all throughout Chicago is just a whole bunch of people getting shot up on Memorial Day. Also, in Midwest City, right out here in Oklahoma, same shit was happening. Midwest City rocked by Memorial Day weekend shooting as residents remain on edge, search for the suspect. So they ain't even find him, right? Because the Lord is using certain spirits to put vengeance on those who keep trying to remember the dead and do all these weird holidays and all that stuff going off, man. And so the Lord's putting out, you know, basically what we call them fanners, which is like little small judgments out there for Jake to get his head right and understand that this is not the same America no more, man. And while that's going on, they talking about building a golden iron dome. They can't even keep their shit up. So it says major U.S. cities plunged into darkness after devastating storms caused mass power outages. So it's about 125,000 people in Texas without power, Louisiana, Mississippi over the weekend, you know, 200,000 Texicans, 100,000 Louisianians, you know, it's just always something that's not working here. The grid's failing, man. And that's what's making people have fear across the earth. That's why you don't see a lot of people going to the club no more like that. And the ones that is going to the club, you know, they're going to have people going to the club. The Lord said people's going to be eating and drinking and giving unto marriage until the whole day of judgment comes. So you're going to see people out. They doing their job. They're making sure everything keeps running so there ain't no excuse when the missiles start flying in this bitch. Luke chapter 21, verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon. We see a lot of blood moons. We had that sun eclipse just recently. And the stars, and upon the earth, the stress of nations, right? Shit shutting down, you know, nations meeting up because all this bombing going over there in certain areas in the Middle East. Okay. The sea and the waves roaring. They just did an article talking about 1,000-foot wave could drown a whole bunch of shit in America. Verse 26, men's heart fell in them for fear and looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. How is it going to be shaken? The missiles. It's going to be blowing shit up. Okay? So they major U.S. cities, they grid be shutting down. What makes you think they can stop 200 million intercontinental ballistic missiles, man? And that's literally what it says in Revelation. Okay, it said in Revelation 9:16. That's what John the Revelator said he's seen 200,000. Okay, the horsemen. When you read in Joel, the 2nd chapter, it talks about these horsemen running in all the houses and everything getting burnt up. It's talking about the missiles. So right here it says grapefruit size hail pelts. Texas as Memorial Day weekend storms blast south. So we also got, some crazy looking weather right now. Okay. I would play the video, but all my stuff's been going slow lately. But it's showing you like that's how big the hell is and stuff. And that was right down the street basically from us. It's good to know that none of the brothers, ain't nothing happened to them. So that's good to hear. But hey, this weather is going to continually get horrible until the point where, all these Babylonians are going to fail together. Isaiah chapter 31, verse 3. I got one more precept after this, we gone. It reads, now the Egyptians are man and not the Most High. This is talking about Esau, even the so-called white man. They are new Egyptians now, okay? Because they're the ones who have Jake in captivity, and they don't want to let us go, okay? Verse 3, now the Egyptians are men and not the Most High, and their horses flesh and not spirit, basically talking about their military power. When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall. So anybody y'all that's helping America Babylon the Great or trying to, look at this place as, this is a place you want to see it survive. And he that is hoping shall fall down, and they shall all fail together. So there's going to be a great forsaking in the land. And that's even for you women out there who's going around just, basically got this whole image painted in your head that us men owe you comfort and the world owes you comfort because you got a box and you look good. The Lord's going to jack your ass up. 2nd Ezra chapter 5, verse 1. And it reads, nevertheless, as the tokens, behold, the day shall come that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden. Talking about the famine of the word. Whenever we stop teaching you, that's when everything's going to start going down, and the land shall be barren of faith. Only ones that's going to happen, who is going to have it, is who? The ones who've been concentrating on spiritual and mental toughness. That is our margins of salvation, man. We need both of those. So that's the lesson. Lord wants that fun to the flock. Shalom to elect Israel, hope elect Israel, Hebrew Israelites, so-called Negro, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, Haitians, foreigners, us, selected the nations scattered across the 4 corners of the earth. I want to give all praise to Barak, Barak, Yahawashi. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, let us all to this truth. Peace and blessings to the flock. Wa Abba Kwam Yasharala. Shalom.